I too often placed myself in situations that would have been far wiser to avoid. At times, I was naive about the dynamics that those situations created.
Jailed tonight about allegations of sexual misconduct at a suburban church.
Willow Creek pastor Bill Hybels resigned last year amid multiple allegations. Tonight, an independent investigation determined those accusations were credible.
Pastor Bill Hybels has finally confirmed the rumors about him. Hybels, a name synonymous with leadership and innovation in the evangelical community, has long been a polarizing figure in modern Christianity. As the founding pastor of Willow Creek Community Church in South Barrington, Illinois, Hybels built one of the largest and most influential megachurches in the United States, pioneering a seeker-sensitive model that reshaped how churches approach outreach and community building. However, his legacy has not been without controversy. In recent years, Hybels has faced scrutiny and allegations that overshadowed his decades of ministry. At 72, Hybels has finally broken his silence, addressing rumors that have swirled for years about his personal life, ministry choices, and the scandals that led to his early retirement.
Well, this independent review was done by religious leaders from Wheaton College, Chicago, Indianapolis, and Washington, D.C. They interviewed Bill Hybels and all the women who made accusations against him.
Bill Hybels launched Willow Creek in 1975, focusing on attracting non-churchgoers through engaging worship services, contemporary music, and relatable messages. His innovative approach drew thousands, making Willow Creek one of the fastest-growing churches in the country. Hybels also authored several best-selling books on leadership, including Courageous Leadership and Simplify, which have been widely used in ministry training programs. Hybels' Global Leadership Summit became a hallmark of his ministry, drawing Christian leaders from around the world to discuss topics such as innovation, integrity, and servant leadership. In 2018, allegations of misconduct surfaced against Hybels, involving several women who accused him of inappropriate behavior over a span of years. The claims ranged from unwelcome comments to alleged power imbalances in professional relationships. Hybels denied the allegations at the time, calling them flat-out lies. However, the claims led to a significant upheaval within Willow Creek. The church's elder board resigned en masse, and Hybels stepped down earlier than planned, leaving a leadership vacuum in one of the most prominent evangelical institutions. After years of avoiding public appearances and refraining from commenting on the scandal, Hybels recently made a statement that has stirred fresh discussion. In an interview with a Christian publication, Hybels finally addressed the rumors and allegations. While the specifics of his statement remain closely guarded, sources suggest he expressed regret over certain aspects of his leadership and acknowledged a need for personal reflection. And in the interview, Hybels reportedly said, "I've spent the past few years wrestling with my faith, my actions, and my understanding of what it means to lead with integrity. I deeply regret any pain I caused, and I am committed to seeking forgiveness where it is needed." For many, Hybels' admission comes too late to undo the damage. The controversy has led to a reevaluation of how churches handle allegations of misconduct, emphasizing accountability and transparency. Willow Creek itself has implemented new policies and a renewed focus on safeguarding its congregation and staff. For others, Hybels' acknowledgement is a step toward healing. Some in the Christian community believe it offers an opportunity for reconciliation and underscores the importance of addressing flaws within church leadership structures. Reactions to Hybels' statement have been mixed. Critics argue that his admission lacks the specificity and contrition needed to fully address the harm caused. Others view it as a significant, albeit overdue, gesture. Prominent Christian leaders have weighed in, with some calling for grace and forgiveness, while others emphasize the need for systemic change in church leadership to prevent similar scandals. A panel of Christian leaders tasked with examining the fallout from Bill Hybels' controversial departure from Willow Creek Community Church determined that allegations of inappropriate words and actions against the prominent pastor are credible. The group concluded that disciplinary action would have been warranted had Hybels not stepped down. The credibility of the allegations is not based on any one accusation or accuser, but on the collective testimony and context of the allegations. The council report stated in its list of conclusions, according to a copy provided to the Tribune by the church. They added, "The credibility of the allegations would have been sufficient for Willow Creek Community Church to initiate disciplinary action if Bill Hybels had continued as pastor of the church." The report from the council, calling itself the Independent Advisory Group, also concluded that Hybels verbally and emotionally intimidated both female and male employees. Hybels, the founder of the South Barrington-based evangelical church, was not immediately available for comment. He has publicly and privately denied the credibility of the accusations, according to the newspaper.
To all the women who have come forward, the church should always follow in Jesus' footsteps to help the wounded find healing, and we are sorry that we added to your pain. That was not our intention, and we regret that it has taken us this long to acknowledge that.
The findings of an external panel's review were released, a process initiated by Willow Creek leadership last summer. According to church officials, the review was financed by an anonymous donor from outside the organization, a measure intended to guarantee an impartial examination of the events surrounding one of the nation's largest Christian congregations. After leading the megachurch for over 4 decades, Hybels stepped down nearly 11 months ago. His resignation followed a Tribune investigation uncovering decades-long allegations of misconduct involving women, including staff members of the church. Church authorities originally supported Hybels, but as more reports of suspected inappropriate behavior emerged, that support weakened. A former executive assistant to Hybels revealed to the New York Times that she endured misconduct by him over a span of 2 years. The recent review uncovered no additional accusations beyond those outlined in the original report. The controversy, coupled with Willow Creek's delayed response, sent shockwaves through the congregation, ultimately leading to the resignation of the church's 2 senior pastors and the complete departure of its elder board. In its assessment, the council also criticized the leaders' responses to the Willow Creek disaster, claiming they were unable to control Hybels. Over multiple decades, the Willow Creek Community Church boards were unable to provide effective oversight of Bill Hybels, the report states, also including the observation that church leadership was not prepared to handle the cascading events it faced last year. As the information was made public, Willow Creek released a comment. The church posted on its website, attributing the statement to its new 9-member elder board. While we cannot change the events of the past, we grieve what has happened, ask for forgiveness, and commit ourselves to pursuing healing and reconciliation. Thank you for your prayers and faithful engagement in the life and ministry of our church during this season. The Tribune reported allegations of inappropriate conduct, including suggestive remarks, prolonged hugs, an unsolicited kiss, and invitations to hotel rooms. Additionally, there was an accusation of a long-term consensual relationship with a married woman, though she later retracted this claim when speaking with church leaders. It was discovered that internal church investigations into Hybels and the accusations consistently exonerated him, with Willow Creek leaders initially upholding the findings of those earlier reviews. The women who shared their stories with the Tribune expressed sharp criticism of the church's handling of their accounts. Similarly, victim advocates voiced apprehensions about the council review initiated last summer, questioning whether it could genuinely maintain independence. The IAG report revealed that its members conducted interviews with Hybels and engaged in discussions with each woman who directly accused him. The panel comprised notable figures such as Margaret Diddams, provost at Wheaton College, Gary Walter, former president of Chicago's Evangelical Covenant Church, Joanne Lyon from the Wesleyan Church in Indianapolis, and Leith Anderson, president of the National Association of Evangelicals based in Washington, D.C. At its height, Willow Creek drew around 25,000 attendees across its main campus and 7 satellite locations. Its influence also extended to 11,000 churches in 130 nations, spreading its distinctive style of Christian worship worldwide. For over 20 years, the Global Leadership Summit has stood as one of the most impactful events in the Christian community. However, in 2018, amid the fallout from the Hybels controversy, numerous churches chose not to air the conference. The group proposed several additional recommendations, including the establishment of a financial assistance program for counseling services for individuals impacted by Hybels. They also suggested the creation of an external hotline for individuals to report further instances of misconduct. In their concluding remarks, under the heading Closing Words, the group reflected on their efforts. We encountered a range of emotions and attitudes including brokenness, hurt, fear, transparency, trust, faith, and hope. The group members wrote. They added, "We heard a catalog of opinions that were spoken with conviction and passion, but also with grace. Clear and strong faith in God and service to Jesus Christ were repeatedly declared and evidenced by those interviewed. They displayed a pervasive sense that God's redemptive purposes will prevail." A statement was also released Thursday by the Willow Creek Association, which oversees the church's global leadership network and collaborated with the church to commission the report. "We realize we can learn from our past and will not be perfect moving forward. We appreciate the very real challenges identified that are facing our organization and believe they can inform and improve the efforts and impact of the Global Leadership Summit into the future." Several board members and the newly appointed pastor of a megachurch in the Chicago area stepped down, admitting they failed to properly address misconduct allegations against the church's founder. Bill Hybels stepped down as the pastor of Willow Creek Community Church following public accusations of misconduct, which he labeled as flat-out lies. Larson, the church's lead pastor, revealed her resignation along with those of several elders who expressed regret for their mishandling of the allegations against Hybels. Larson said, "In recent days and weeks, it has become clear to me that this church needs a fresh start. The staff, this staff that I dearly love, they also need a clean running lane to heal, to build, to dream." During a gathering at the church's South Barrington, Illinois campus, she delivered a statement to a packed congregation. The announcement sparked a mix of applause and dissent, with at least one individual advancing toward the stage, according to the Chicago Tribune. "We can now see this investigation was flawed. We viewed the allegations through the lens of trust we had in Bill, and this clouded our judgment," Elder Missy Rasmussen said in a statement posted to the church's website. Rasmussen stated that Hybels, who has faced allegations of inappropriate comments, an unsolicited kiss, invitations to hotel rooms, and a prolonged affair with a married woman, operated without the level of accountability he required. She also noted that the elders felt Hybels never fully acknowledged the full scope of his behavior publicly. Some of the women who came forward were directly employed by Hybels, and the elders expressed regret for not trusting them. After learning of the horrifying accusations made against Hybels by the New York Times, lead teaching pastor Steve Carter resigned. Steve Gillen, a pastor at the regional campus, was appointed interim lead pastor at Willow Creek. Meanwhile, due to the congregation's inability to pay the mortgage, Willow Creek Community Church has announced that it will be closing its site in Chicago. In a video update released today, Willow Creek senior pastor Dave Dummett shared that when the church acquired the property at 1347 Essie State St. in April 2018, it believed it was financially capable of managing the purchase. At that time, we had pledged to fund almost the entirety of its purchase, with a plan to carry a responsible level of debt in line with the size and budget level at the campus at that time, Dummett said. 40% of Willow Chicago's operating budget was allocated to leasing the auditorium theater and space for children's ministry, according to an archived webpage announcing the purchase. The new building would enhance Willow's ability to move people along in becoming fully devoted followers of Jesus, the webpage stated. Dummett said, "But since then, Willow at large and Willow Chicago went through some pretty significant changes, and while Chicago was a growing congregation, we're faced with an unsustainable financial scenario. Lockdowns and a significant misconduct controversy involving Willow Creek founder Bill Hybels were among the adjustments. As mentioned before, Hybels resigned under pressure due to the controversy, which ultimately resulted in the resignation of the whole board of Willow Creek. In a statement issued in 2019, Willow Creek's newly appointed board accused Hybels of unchecked sin and intimidating behavior. Additionally, the board acknowledged that the victims and their advocates suffered as a result of the church's original response, which blamed the claimed victims. Willow Creek's size has decreased, and donations have decreased by up to 45% since 2018. Over the past 5 years, at least 9 campus pastors from Willow Creek have stepped down. The most recent departure was Ed Ollie, who resigned as the pastor of Willow Creek North Shore on January 31st. Before joining Willow Creek, Ollie had served as the lead campus pastor at Harvest Bible Chapel, the longtime ministry of the embattled pastor James McDonald. In March 2021, Pastor Rob Campbell, the previous campus pastor at Willow Chicago, resigned. At that time, Campbell explained that he and Dummett had differing views on the church model to pursue. Campbell advocated for a highly contextualized approach, where each local campus could develop its own ministry and service initiatives. In contrast, Dummett favored a more aligned model, where the main campus would dictate the structure and content of the ministries and programs. Since then, Campbell has established Awaken Chicago, a new church in Chicago. After Campbell's resignation, Miguel de la Mora took on the role of interim pastor at Willow Chicago for several months. Then, in June 2021, Thomas Anderson Jr. was appointed as the permanent pastor, a position he continues to hold today. At Willow Creek's Crystal Lake campus, De La Mora serves as the pastor at the moment. Yesterday, Willow Chicago held a town hall meeting for its members. Additionally, Willow Creek emailed its email list members a link to Dummett's video. Willow Chicago announced its closing on Instagram, saying, "It is with heavy and grateful hearts we share that our last service will be on February 25th. Let's come together and thank God for all He has done during our years together. While this season comes to a close, we will forever be united as brothers and sisters in Christ." Dummett explains that for the past 3 years, Willow Creek has been collaborating with a developer in an effort to prevent the closure of the State Street building, aiming to revitalize it while preserving part of the space for the church. But as the economy has shifted and interest rates increased, the time frame for that project continued to extend farther and farther out. Dummett said he also mentioned that Willow thought about renting a different location for the church, but ultimately concluded that closure was the best decision for our immediate future. According to Dummett, Willow has no plans to shut down any of its 7 other congregations in the Chicago region. Dummett added, "I just want to say this has not been easy for our entire team. Our Chicago team in particular, they are fantastic. They have built a beautiful multi-ethnic growing congregation in the South Loop, and we're committed to walking with them in this and hopefully finding new roles at Willow should they choose to stay." At the same time, Willow Creek Community Church in the Chicago area became well known across the country. However, Casey Kasem's well-known statement, "The hits just keep on coming," might equally be used to characterize the church's collapse. The first blow struck in 2018 when whistleblowers accused Bill Hybels, the longtime pastor, of misconduct. Initially, the church's leadership stood by Hybels, who denied the allegations. However, this may have been the church's second misstep, choosing to blindly trust the pastor's word over the credible accusations rather than conducting a thorough investigation. The initial whistleblowers sparked a wave of courage among others, while the church's dismissals only fueled their resolve. Before long, the sheer volume and credibility of the allegations became undeniable, compelling Hybels to step down. Likewise, those in Willow Creek's senior leadership who had steadfastly supported him were also forced to resign. As the church worked to rebuild its tarnished reputation, more challenges emerged. In a Facebook post on Saturday, January 25th, a longtime member of the church publicly accused Gilbert Belezikian, affectionately known as Dr. B, of kissing, groping, and coercing her into close acts between 1984 and 1988. Belezikian, a retired professor who had served as a mentor to Hybels for many years, is regarded as one of the key figures in the founding of Willow Creek Church. Hybels himself once said, "There would be no Willow Creek without Gilbert Belezikian." At first, it seemed that Willow Creek's leadership had finally understood the gravity of the situation. Acting lead pastor Steve Gillen quickly addressed the allegations against Dr. B, stating, "We believe that Dr. B engaged in inappropriate behavior, and the harm he caused was inexcusable," in an email. However, what appeared to be a swift and transparent response soon proved to be an illusion. It was revealed that similar credible accusations had been made against Belezikian a decade earlier, at which time the church's elders quietly imposed restrictions on his involvement, yet failed to notify the congregation about his past actions. To make matters worse, Willow Creek had honored Belezikian with an award around that period, recognizing his contributions to the church's growth. Because of how widespread these cover-ups were, Gillen has now resigned as the acting lead pastor. Additionally, Gillen was a top candidate for the position of lead pastor, but the hunt for a replacement was put on hold. Given all of these issues, which have engulfed numerous senior leaders over many years, it is worthwhile to inquire as to what transpired at Willow Creek. Are these issues unique to Willow Creek, or are they baked into the autonomous megachurch that it developed into and served as a model for numerous others? In order to address these issues, it is useful to go back a few decades and examine the establishment of what is now one of America's most copied churches. Willow Creek Community Church, led by its energetic and youthful pastor Bill Hybels, was uniquely positioned to influence the nation. Located in the suburbs of Chicago, the nation's third largest city, it had the perfect setting to make a significant impact. Equally significant, it is situated close to some of the nation's most prominent Christian ministries and educational institutions, such as Wheaton College, Trinity Evangelical Divinity School, Trinity International University, and the Moody Bible Institute. South Barrington, home to Willow Creek, epitomized the type of emerging edge city or suburb that fueled the nation's economic expansion during the final decades of the 20th century. It was one of the wealthiest and most rapidly developing communities in the United States. In the 1980s, South Barrington represented the American ideal, a symbol of prosperity and progress that many across the country strive to attain. In the 1980s and 1990s, Willow Creek Community Church emerged as a model for other churches to emulate. It set the standard for the modern evangelical megachurch, rapidly growing from its humble beginnings to a congregation of over 2,000 regular attendees in just a few short years. By 2005, it boasted a membership of 2,500, securing its position as the 6th largest Protestant church in the U.S. The church's growth plateaued around 25,000 members by 2015. What set Willow Creek apart wasn't merely its vast size or rapid expansion, but its profound impact on other churches. Through the establishment of the Willow Creek Association, now known as the Global Leadership Network, which eventually connected thousands of churches, it became a guiding force, mentoring others in effective strategies and methods for fostering church growth. Willow Creek, much like numerous megachurches and parachurch groups, emerged from the roots of youth ministry. Specifically, it was shaped by the youth ministry of South Park Church, located in the neighboring suburb of Park Ridge, just outside Chicago. South Park Church was far from a traditional, old-fashioned house of worship. Although it was the spiritual parent of Willow Creek Community Church, it was still in its formative years. Nearly 15 years ago, cracks started to appear in the veneer of Willow Creek when its founder, Hybels, publicly acknowledged that the church's approach to ministry had been a mistake. At 72, Bill Hybels has finally addressed the rumors and controversies that have shaped his recent years, leaving a mixed legacy that continues to provoke discussion within and beyond the Christian world. Whether his acknowledgement brings closure or further questions, one thing is clear: his influence on modern evangelicalism, for better or worse, will not be forgotten. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks.